Today is the 14th day of May, 2019. I saw on World News this morning, and they said things that you don't like in the workplace or people you don't like in the workplace. So I thought I'd do the story. I'm a taxi driver, also a boat captain. Being a boat captain, taking people on tours, thousands of people. I remember when I was the only black person, all white, only Bahamians in Marsh Harbor to take people out at a place called Abaco Towns. One day I would take 100 people to where they call Baker's Bay right there. So I had a lot of practice on how to deal with tourists. Me and one guy called Sibo would take these tourists out and entertain them, 100 persons to two of us. So I know this game called tourism. I am the longest driving person, continually drive in Marsh Harbor. For 35 years I've been driving as a taxi. And we have a lot of monkeys out here. They got on following. A lot of followers. And over the past 8 years, this individual, 8 or 10 years, this individual joined the taxi line. And this person has happened to be one of the most criminal-minded persons that I've ever met. This boy will steal from tourists every day, and it's a joke. He was a fireman, and I heard people talking about it. I didn't know him, I'm in Marsh Harbor, he's from Murphytown, but I didn't know who the hell he was until I caught up with him as a fireman, and what he would do as a fireman. If a jet came in, this was before Cherokee Air got up and running, the jets was to come into the Marsh Harbor International Airport, and he would come with the fire truck, big and bold, like he's some operator of FBO, take the people deck into custom and charge them 200, 300. And I heard the pilot said, why should I pay $300? All you do is take my deck and put it in the window to the custom officer. I could have done that myself. He said, that'll be $300. Biggity, that'll be $300. You gotta pay me $300. But he couldn't do that alone. The custom officers were thieves and crooks also to allow that, because he got 150 and he gave the custom officer 150, and the customer, the tourist, left angrily because they know they were getting sham. The government caught up with him. They immediately evict him totally off the airport. No more firemen. That's it. Got into his brother's taxi and he never looked back. I see one day some guests, he always hit these guests when they're leaving. 6 people went to Freeport, but he thought that they were leaving the country, so he charged them $165. That ride should have cost $24 from the ferry to the airport. So the people came back through and they said they need a taxi. How much does it cost to go back to the ferry? I said $24. They called the taxi name, say he charged them $165. I've heard this every day. I've seen it every day. Ain't no thing. Nobody wants to be authority figure to deal with it. So I called the lady taxi driver, told her what happened. I said, I want to drive these people. This guy already screwed these people. You deal with it. So she called this particular taxi driver right at the airport, and she grabbed him, manhandled him, and take the $165 out of his pocket and give it to the tourists. Give it back to them. Then I saw an incident at the FBO where tourists going behind the desk or at the desk cursing out the girls behind the desk because they rode in this particular taxi that robbed them. Mind, the girls are innocent. They don't know what's going on, but they had to vent their fury out on somebody. So the poor girls at the FBO will get cussed out because the tourist said, y'all know he's a thief. He ought not be driving anybody from the FBO. Our road traffic officer would see me at the ferry dock those days when he came at the ferry dock, and he would show me his email of the same particular driver, and you'll have 10 emails describing how this gentleman robbed them. And he would bust out laughing. I'd say, that is not a joking matter. That is why he continues to rob these tourists all these years, because y'all just think it's a joke. It's an embarrassing and disgrace to tourism and this product. 35 years I've been driving taxi. And one thing I hear every day that angers me as a honest driver, it makes you feel like the people don't trust you. And everybody was told this by one driver. Caused this to happen. 35 years I never heard this. Every person that jump in my car, unless they're regulars, they would say, how much does it cost to take me here or there? Because they were told that this thief among us is so rotten, he will rob you, whatever. So everybody was told to ask how much because of one person. This guy is so powerful, he called himself a PLP general. The moratorium on taxi is closed. During the PLP term in power, he is the only person that got a taxi plate illegally. Renato Curry was responsible for getting it for him. And this guy has been a menace and continue to be a menace to taxi. And guess what? For the first time in the history of taxiing, we got 90% women. Most of them, everybody bring their daughter now. Their little daughter couldn't get no job nowhere else because they're so no manners, unruly, unprofessional, unworthy of driving taxi, unworthy of working. They end up on the taxi line and they're screwing everything up. They don't give a hell about the product. They just care about the money. This same taxi man is a fugitive from law enforcement in America. Everybody go to America to shop and try to get better prices. Guess what he got locked up for in America? Stealing groceries. Always believe he's the smartest apple in the Bahamas and indeed the world. This young man went into the shop and loaded his car up. He paid for the first set of groceries, but he went back and picked up the same groceries and tried to use the same slip. They were watching him for weeks and months. They finally got him. He said, well, I have the receipt for this. He said, well, how you could have the receipt for that? What about the receipt for the one in the car? He was locked up, brought before the court, and was found guilty. And I don't know where the Americans get this thing from. Come back and we will sentence you. Well, when they told him to come back, that was Delia. Snuck into Bimini, went to the airport because you know everybody that comes back and forth there. Got a ride into Bimini, called the immigration, was going to send him back from Bimini because he had no paperwork. Cost the pilot to get in trouble because he thought he was straight. And the immigration officer here, who's a friend of him, tell him to land him because she knew him. I see here down at Price Right, I see his name on the wall there. Do not take no credit card from him. Do not take anything from him. I don't want him in my shop. I say, why y'all got his name there like that? Said he stole his mother-in-law credit card in America and he brought it and maxed it out. You imagine going to America with your wife and you stole your mother-in-law, your wife's mother credit card. So stupidly don't know that that's gonna be traced. And it's traced it right back to Price Right where he maxed it out. That wasn't it, you know. I see him going to the supermarket here at the airport here, and he was changed the prices. If something costs $20, he'll put a $3 price on it. Don't know that the computer has the right price. And he would go up to the computer and argue with the people, knowing that he changed the price. So when he comes in the shop, it's red alert. Look out for him, look out for him. And this continually happen. And the thing about this is that when you have a wife and you have kids, you think that you would change after your kids come of age. You already know you're a natural disgrace. You would change for your family and your kids' sake. Now there's a new era going on here. I told you monkey see, monkey do. I could do a video on this individual that take you about 4 days and I still wouldn't be finished. Now he's at the airport renting cars to tourists. Going on the internet, renting cars, selling cars, without any license to rent car. And I said to the fella, what if those tourists would have get in an accident? Well, I see Baker's Bay doing it, so I guess he could do it. Baker's Bay been getting away with it for 10 years, so it ain't no thing. I'm being a good citizen. I pointed out to the police at the airport. They turned a blind eye. I said, that boy does not have any license to be renting tourist vehicle. We have to protect this golden egg. We cannot allow him to continue to do what he do. That ain't it, you know. He hit up a guest. He is we call him Sweet Mouth Willie, because he could talk the talk out of you and make you to believe a lie. Not I, said Kai. Can't do it to me. I know him too well. Well, a guest I used to drive, he hit him for $5,000. The guest took him to court. He was told to pay the money, X amount every month. That don't happen. So the guest asked me, said, Kai, why didn't you tell me this boy was a thief? I said, that's not my job. My job is to take you from point A to point B and give you my price. I am not in the business of running another driver down because y'all gonna go to him and say, Kai said this. So you have to take your licks like everybody else. But, you know, the guy come back. I'm driving again now. I go and sit down with court with him. I'm listening. So the guy was said to the magistrate, you know, he made an agreement. He only pays when I come. He's already back 4 or 5 months. You know what he come and pay? He paid the month that the guy is here. And the courts allowed that to happen. So the tourist would say, you know, it ain't nothing wrong with him. It's the courts. If he made the agreement, he should stick with the agreement. But the guy already bought 3 or 4 rental vehicles and still haven't paid that man his $5,000. And you'll be surprised to know how many persons he already hit $5,000 and he's still in the taxi business. But let me end this. It gets worse, you know. We had over 200 golfers came to Abaco. And tourism knows of the thieving that this guy has been doing. Guess who they put in charge of the transportation for these golfers for 2 years? The same thief. So tell me something, people. If he is paying the taxi driver and nobody knows what this guy is getting, only him and this particular tourism officer. He may be getting $500 a car, but the taxi drivers are going to beg for their money at the end of the trip. And tourism is putting a known kleptomaniac in charge of paying taxi drivers in Abaco. This is the thing that I hate about Abaco. The crooks always get away. The one that try to tell the story like I am, I will get backlash because all I'm doing is trying to protect this golden egg called tourism. This guy ought not be in the farm feeding wild hog. He's a thief and he continues to thief. And guess what? He runs an ASU at the airport, costing more people to thief. $200 a day ASU. And if they don't make their quota, they're going to steal from the tourists to make up that $200, and the saga continues. This is the things I hate about the job and the people on the job that continue to rob the tourists blind. And road traffic is a rubber stamp, the police is a rubber stamp, and the saga continues. Kai is just telling a story on WCAY while this kleptomaniac continue to rob tourists and grin like it's a joke. All joke is on the Bahamas government.